It's my first time in the European Parliament, and here are 5 things I learned, from least to most surprising. Number 1 is origin. Europe was built on war, but after World War II, they decided maybe it's time to stop the beef, and their solution was genius. In 1951, France and Germany, that fought a lot, and 4 more countries, created the European Coal and Steel Community, sharing the control of the 2 industries essential for war, so rearming in secret would be impossible, and actually going to war with each other would be self-destructive. It eventually became the European Union as we know it and expanded to 27 countries, now united economically, politically and culturally. And until now, the EU members have never fought each other, for which the EU received the Nobel Peace Prize as an organization. Number 2 is the actual place. The European Parliament is based in Strasbourg, and the main building in Strasbourg is actually unfinished if you look at this side, so some of the facade is kind of gone, to symbolize that the European project is constantly evolving. Eventually it's gotta be finished, right? Inside there is also artworks donated by each member state, so it's kind of also like a mini European museum. The Parliament is also the world's biggest interpreting service, with 1,000 interpreters for 24 official EU languages. By the way, Ukrainian is also there. Slava Ukraini. The EU elections is actually the world's 2nd largest vote, with 450 million eligible voters. And I actually found 2 things about it really weird. Number 1 is that voting age is not the same across the EU, so the teenage vote in Austria, Belgium and Germany kind of decides the future of the EU. And the second one is actually the system of voting that's called regressive proportionality, basically giving small countries disproportionately more members of parliament to make sure that their voice is heard. For example, Malta's vote is 10 times more powerful than Germany's vote in terms of representation compared to the size of the population. Number 4 is the money. The euro is the 2nd most used currency in the world, but 7 countries in the European Union don't use the euros. So Poland and Hungary delay adopting the euros to be more recession-proof, being able to print their own currency. Romania still doesn't meet the economic requirements. Sweden is actually legally obliged to implement euros, but the euro was rejected in a Swedish referendum. And Denmark has a permanent opt-out. And then there are countries like Montenegro and Kosovo that actually use the euros, but without any permission. Number 5 is the process of joining and leaving. The EU is comparable to China and the US in terms of the size of the economy, but it can offer one thing that the US or China can't: membership. But the process of joining and leaving is not straightforward. Even if they pass all of these hurdles, just one member of the EU can veto the application. Macedonia was vetoed by Greece that they had to change their name to North Macedonia to join the bloc. And the application can last a really long time. Turkey applied in 1987 and is still a candidate country. Now the most interesting part. The UK is still formally the only country to ever leave the European Union. And actually, before 2009, there was no legislative framework to leave the Union. People didn't think that countries would want to leave. Turns out they do.